Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Get Your Happy On with me, Olivia, and your savvy social humorist. And I'm so excited to be celebrating episode 11 today. So, 11, I'm finally in the double digits. So, woo, woo. I have to celebrate every small win on this journey. This has been a really amazing project, and I'm learning so much on my live streaming process. And it's part of my Humor Academy assignment too, just to be able to interview my colleagues who are in the Humor Academy level 1 with me, and also just to expand my network of people in business, healthcare, creative professionals, humor professionals, laughter yogis, of course. And so it's just so much fun to be able to sit down and discuss with them happiness topics. So, in honor of episode 11, I wanted to dedicate this episode to my very dear 98-year-old neighbor, Mr. Captain Philip Lawton Smith, who recently passed away. And I was able to attend the memorial service, which was beautiful, down at his church, Ortega Methodist Church, and talk about a life well lived and illustrious career, colorful life, full with memories. And I just loved reading the obituary. I wanted to read an excerpt of his obituary that his daughter Karen had written. And Mr. Phil is such a dear friend to my husband and I. When we first moved into our neighborhood, Memory Lane, just a year ago, he came to my housewarming party, and I was so touched by that. I invited all the neighbors, but he was one of the people that showed up, and was so touching to be in the presence of a World War II veteran. Yes, he served in World War II. He was a naval aviator. My husband works for Boeing, so they hit it off right away, talking about airplanes. And it was just so amazing to be able to come into his life and he into ours, and to hear the stories about, his life and his career and his family and his values, etc. So I just want to read an excerpt of his obituary here. Philip Lawton Smith was born on January 9th, 1924 in Austell, Georgia, to Philip and Mary Kate Smith. Mr. Phil met Elise, the love of his life, while stationed briefly at NES Jacks during World War II. They first met at a church function, and it was a chance encounter that led to 72 years of marriage. Oh my gosh, 72 years of marriage. My husband and I just celebrated our 10th year anniversary, so we've got a long ways to go. As a pilot flying Liberators, Privateers, and PBYs, Mr. Phil saw combat in the Pacific Theater and earned the Navy Cross. While overseas, he arranged with the florist to send Elise a dozen red roses every month while they were apart. Upon his return, they married on June 23rd, 1946, in the same church where they had met. He had an aptitude in mechanical drawing and sheet metal, and so he went to work at NES as an airplane mechanic and continued to serve his country in the Naval Reserves, attaining the rank of captain. When NES installed their very first computer, Mr. Phil excelled in training as a programmer, and that led to so many different promotions in his career. Eventually, he returned to his true passions, which is airplanes, and he became the director of the Naval Air Rework Facility, where F-14s were repaired and sent back into service. Archery, hunting, fishing were his favorite hobbies. Ever the craftsman, he also purchased a longbow and made his own arrows, quivers, and other accessories. He gave archery lessons to young people, including his 3-year-old daughter at the time, customizing her bow and arrow and teaching her. Even after retirement, Mr. Phil kept up with all his hobbies, and he was quite skilled as a stained glass artist, earning the renown of his church family at Ortega United Methodist, where he and Miss Elise were active members, and Phil served as an usher for many years. He also joined a local woodworking club and acquired an interest in flying radio-controlled airplanes, and he even made his own airplanes to fly, which was the PBY. And the family, sends immense gratitude to American Home Care for sending just the right caregivers, sometimes at the last minute. And this was especially important because Mr. Phil got to age in place in his own home. He was the first person to purchase the land lot here in this neighborhood, and probably, one of the last people to build a house. And he actually drew from his daughter. She told me that he drew the blueprints and the plans for this particular house. And so it's very special history that he has here in this neighborhood. And so the fact that he was able to age in place in his own home with a caregiver, Ms. Lee Beth Benson, is very special. And you could see the team effort that was always there, in providing quality care, managing his day-to-day activities, and, just giving him those quality of life moments. And I'm sad because I only met him for the year. We've only, gone to visit a handful of times, but I'm so grateful because of those handful of times, we've had some very special memories, including which the last time I got to see him was at the Top Gun movie. Yes, the Top Gun movie, Maverick, that was just released over Memorial Day weekend. And we had gotten tickets for Boeing Family Day, invited Karen and Mr. Phil out, and everyone was so welcoming and loved meeting him. He wore his Navy veteran hat, and he was just so proud. And the movie was a big deal. I mean, it was just a thrilling movie, and he felt like he was right there in the action of it all. And, he worked on those planes that were being shown in the movie. So he had such a blast. It was one of the, best weekends that he had. And so I cherish that moment so much, and it happened over Memorial Day weekend. And it's just a powerful reminder, like, how many of him and his other, fellow veterans did to fight for freedom in this country. So I bring this all up because we talk about, happiness topics and just about, the quality of these happy moments and the memories. And so it's not the quantity, but the quality of having just those shared experiences, I think is so special. And our guest today, Katy Maag, she is known as the Laughing Nurse, and she practices Mirthful Medicine. And she often, works with elderly patients, heart patients, and she talks a lot about caregiving. She's a caregiver herself, and so I'm really pleased to have her on as a guest for this, week's episode. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Katy Maag on. Hey, Katy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, welcome to the Get You Happy On show. I'm so thrilled that we finally got time in the calendar to do this.
Yes. We attempted it yesterday because they were working on my electricity on the outside of my house, and they're putting up new poles. So I went to the library, was not able to get on, so we had to reschedule it for today, which was fine, until about 9:30 this morning. All of a sudden, I had this nice young man coming up to my door and saying, "Hey, we're going to shut your electricity off." I said, "Hey, no, you can't." So there's probably about 8 guys getting an early lunch because of me. And here, I'll show you the picture. They're outside.
Wait. Oh, they're outside waiting to get your orders?
They're all outside waiting till 12:15.
You tell them, Katy.
They probably thought,
That's amazing.
It's
Well, I'm
awesome.
so glad you're here. And, I always welcome everybody to say, welcome to the hashtag happy half hour. Well, it might be too early today, but that's okay. But, I want to show off my Top Gun cup. So I'm drinking water because it's very hot. It's a summer hot day. And I don't know if you've seen the movie yet, but I highly recommend it. And I've gone to see it like 3 times. So not just with Mr. Phil, but I took my best friend, I took my brother. So it's definitely like movie of the summer. So I'm all Top Gunned out today.
Awesome. I keep hearing from a lot of people it's an awesome movie. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen this one yet. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I always recommend people to watch it back to back. Like watch the first one and then immediately go see the new one, because then you can appreciate like the story arc, and you can appreciate also just the technology and the cinematography, because they've come a long way since the first movie. So, yeah,
Right.
very special.
30 years ago, we wouldn't have thought about doing this. The Jetsons did it, right?
Right? I mean, I know that you're like geographically like distant. You're in Ohio and I'm here in Florida, but I mean, like you're sitting in your living room, I'm here in my living room, so it's like we're intimate, and it's like we're next door anyway. So I love it.
Neighbor.
Love live streaming. Exactly. Be a good neighbor.
Nice.
So I wanted to tell everyone that I've gotten to know Katy. I mean, I first saw you, I think, on Dr. Lynn's kind of like laughter yoga workshops. Like she was teaching us, some business strategies for Laughter Business Academy. I think I saw you there. And then I saw you again at AATH, which is the Association for Applied Therapeutic Humor conference that was held in March. And like I immediately gravitated towards you. I don't know if it's the red hair or your fashion sense, but you were just so magnetic. And I really enjoyed getting to know you at the conference, and then come to find out that we're cohort members. So we're in the Humor Academy level 1 journey together. How has that been going for you?
Oh, it's awesome. What an amazing organization, to be quite honest. I actually founded, I've been a laughter yoga leader first, and then I became a teacher. And then one of the other laughter yoga professionals, Tina Miller, said how she got her level 3 and how she was going to achieve her degree or her certificate or whatever. And I thought, you know what? That's what I need to do. I need to grow it. I need to do more research. I need to do more because I'm interested in it, because laughter is an easy way to build bonds and help with stress, and it helps with even physical activity. It's kind of my favorite way of doing exercise, to be quite honest, but we won't talk about that. But there's so many benefits to it. I just wanted to grow my practice in that. And where I live, it's a very rural area. I mean, I had to travel 3 hours to even become a laughter yoga leader. And I'll be quite honest, I was kind of nervous when we first got there, and we're watching everybody, and everybody's face, you could see how they were stressed. And by the time they were done, everybody looked about 10 or 20 years younger. And I'm like, yes, this is for me. Yes, this is for me. And it's just because their facial muscles kind of relax. I'm like, all right, I'm seasoned enough. I kind of need to get those wisecracks down a little. So I thought, I started practicing it and doing it more and more. And then I went and become a leader. And then I went and thought, well, I want to be a teacher so I can teach people to lead laughter. So I went back last November. And then in March, we had the national conference to become in the AATH, which has been awesome. Everybody in AATH, I cannot say enough. They have been very engaging. They're very helpful. It's an organization that I don't get the impression that they're just out for themselves. It's like they have a higher purpose of helping people. Does that make sense? I mean, sometimes you're in an organization and, people are doing stuff because they're just going to better themselves for them, not for other people. AATH, any member that I've ever talked to or spoke with or even asked questions have been always engaging and very helpful and it's very refreshing. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy learning. I enjoy participating and still running my wheels, seeing where I'm going to go with this all.
I love that.
I don't know what else to say.
I didn't even know about AATH. I just stumbled upon it through a referral. And, shout out to Tina for referring you to the association. And when I got referred, it was through Kathy Grippy. So, Kathy, thank you so much for telling me about AATH, because, it's been around for almost 30 years, and I had no idea that I could become a certified humor professional. That's a thing. I still want that. I still want to be a tip, CHP, and have that letters after my name.
Same here.
But you're right. When I attended the conference, it was unlike any other conference I've gone to, business and professional wise, because everybody was so in their element and so full of joy and so generous and giving. People that I didn't even know were just coming up to me, and I felt super welcomed.
Oh, definitely. It was, yeah. And they help you out, and they're not afraid of saying, hey, here's a tip, or here's something that you can use possibly. Because I think everybody gets into the mindset that, oh, I don't want to help them because they're going to take over my craft. That's not all out. AATH didn't make me feel that way. Everybody was very helpful, very, embracing. And it's just amazing because how many people are from international plus, different diversities, every walk of life. I don't think there's any walk of life I did not kind of encounter. We even had a dog there. special guest. You
Yep.
know?
I think it was it Miyuki? I mean, Miyuki came all the way from like Japan to attend this
Yes.
conference, and Bea, right, who's in our cohort too, came from Hungary, and so like it
Yep.
was truly an international affair. And I think this study of humor and humor as a therapy, humor as a practice and the tool is for almost everybody. It can be applied to so many disciplines, right? I mean, you're in healthcare. I'm in business. We saw people in medicine. We saw people in education. We saw people in academia, researchers. So it's really just amazing to have such a diverse collective of professionals in the room.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there was not, I don't think, um, I, yeah, there was such a diverse, it was not, business or healthcare or any, even teachers. I mean, there was teachers there. There's, I mean, there's even comedians. There's one of the comedians from AATH is actually going to be probably about an hour south from here doing a comedy show tonight. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get there.
Oh my gosh, you gotta go.
I know. I'm like, eh. So,
Thank you, Irma. Oh my gosh, Irma, my good friend Irma from the Sing Your Heart Song Summit is on. So thank you for chiming in today. And it's AATH, Irma, Association for Applied Therapeutic Humor. So you need to be in it too. Irma, you would love it.
yes.
And so I
Oh,
think that's the power of AATH that we can refer. I think, that's how people even know that it exists, right? It's through the power of referrals and through the power of just like spreading the message, spreading the word.
oh, I think so too. I mean, I got on the AATH website and there was a lady that lived probably 45 minutes from here. And I contacted her and she did not get back to me for a while because she was busy. But she's retired now and she's on the second stage. So she's on the second tier of it. So she's second year now. So, but that's awesome. I mean, I don't, I don't know what else to say about that.
It really is. And we've been studying really hard because, once a month we get together for our sessions and we've been studying from this textbook, right? Using humor to maximize living. And this is written by the director of Humor Academy, Mary Kay Morrison. So we're on chapter 3. And I was thinking about you because there were so many research studies that I thought that you would have enjoyed because of your nursing background. What was striking for you about this chapter? Or what's been like your favorite chapter or favorite aha moment?
I don't, oh my gosh. There's been so many of them. I think with the second chapter, how we do the patty cake with the little babies. And you think about, we're both laughter yoga teachers, leaders, whatever, but we elicit when we do the hands, we do it like this. So we elicit the pressure points. But what do you do when you do patty cake with the babies? Patty cake, baker's man. Yay. Similar thing. So it actually, it connects with our head, some of the positive responses and some of the things we probably have had in childhood that was pleasant for us. So I found that very interesting. This chapter is probably the research and how everything's just a little bit different, and how the difference between humor and laughter. There is a difference because my humor could be different than somebody else's versus I'm more. I just kind of say what I think. Basically, I was raised by grandparents, and I think pretty much, pretty much, my filter was broken very early. you know, um, I am a caregiver. I have two children. I have a special needs son, and then I have a special needs son. I tell everybody he's my $1,000,000, and my second's my 1 in a million because you got more than one additional or child. Whew, God love you. That boys. And you have to keep the humor. I have a friend who's 85 years and he's like a dad to me. My dad died when I was young. I helped take care of him, taking to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And there's a lot of humor with um, helping with older people and their caregiver and helping them through and stuff like that. And it's just amazing some of the things that people will pull. Some of these elderly people, I'm like, whoa, 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 who I think they're just an easy target to try to coerce in. Like one thing he got was this letter from the state of Ohio. Well, it wasn't from the state of Ohio, saying that he had his identity stolen and that he was working and blah 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 blah. And it said to contact Canada or California, and I'm like, first one, that's a red flag. Number two, I called the local county office and said, "Hey, is this true?" Whatever, and they're like, "No, we've never heard of it." I said, "Perfect," and I had it on speakerphone, so he didn't think I just said it. That he knew, and he's very intelligent man. It's just, he thought, and he was going to call them and give them the information because he didn't know.
I love that. I love that. That you're with Bob, and you blog about Bob too, which I think is so endearing. So if you have not followed Katie's blog, it is so fun. It's Katy with a Y, because why not? And I'm going to pop the link here for all of you to see. But I highly recommend just to read up on it, because there are some humorous moments, right? And he's so sharp, though. Like, I remember reading that blog post about the false advertising and the strawberries.
I'm telling you, I was thinking, oh, we're going to be banned from Kroger's for a long time.
Like, he literally took strawberries from another container to put it in to make sure it was 16 ounces.
Yeah. He's like, that's false advertisement. That's not right. And you think about it, they're on a limited income, so I can get it. But I think the funniest thing was when he was in the hospital and he gained a lot of fluid, and he gained fluid everywhere, mind you, everywhere. And and he says to me, he says, "Katy," I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I've gained fluid everywhere." I said, "Okay." Not thinking. And he's like, "Listen, I'm 85 years of age and I've always wanted to be hung like a horse, but gosh darn it, I'll let you know, when I looked down, it was a big surprise to me." I'm like, man, how do you deal with that one? So I'm like, but it's all good. I mean, like,
It just reminds me, because Miss Beth, who was the caregiver for Mr. Phil, like, she had signs everywhere around the house for him, because he would accidentally turn things off, or push the wrong button on things, and so she would have a sign. And he was so cheeky, Mr. Phil. Like, he loved Wendy's, chicken sandwiches, and there was only a certain day they could have them. And then my husband and I, we didn't know. And so I think we visited him on an off day, and we bought Wendy's chicken sandwiches. And he was so happy, because he was like, "Oh, it's a non-Wendy's day, but I get to have it."
Yes, I'm telling you.
He was just devouring it. It was just such a joy to see him enjoy that. And then I think you talk a lot about, just seniors needing to get out, needing to be active and doing certain activities, right? Getting out more.
Well, actually, that's the Healthy 20, or I think it's Healthy 2025. That's one of the things they have as programs out for some senior citizens, that they can go out to eat up to 4 times a month. All they have to pay is the tip, but they want them, because think about the pandemic. Think of how many older people passed away just from loneliness, not just because of the pandemic or because they got ill, but because of loneliness, because they didn't want to get with their loved ones or whatever. And it was a scary time for a lot of people. And I've heard from a lot of people that in our little community, so and so, because we couldn't go visit in the nursing home other than through the window, they just gave up and passed away, just because. People need people. They need that social interaction. That's why laughter is such a good thing. Laughter connects people, and it's kind of hard to be mad at somebody after you've laughed with them, to be quite honest. I use laughter a lot. I never realized until getting involved in AATH and stuff how much I have used laughter through my lifetime, and some of the things you probably shouldn't have laughed at, and I'll be honest, but you have to laugh it off, because what else are you going to do? Because it gets out of your mindset for just even a short snippet to get your mind back, that you can keep carrying on, if nothing else. So, but I'm a cardiac rehab nurse. So I have the best job in the world. I get to see them when they first come in, when they are not feeling well, just getting over a life-changing event, and then help them exercise and do education with them and get them on their way, help them exercise, get into shape, but I also help give them the tools. Like I do stress management with them. I don't do laughter with them. I do laughter in a way. I do not let my patients watch the news because I'll be honest, about 6 years ago, patients were watching the news and they were riding the bike like this. And I'm like, how? Uh, it doesn't seem like it would be comfortable for one. Number two, it wasn't helpful. So I have some of the old fashioned videos of either Carol Burnett, Red Skelton, some of the old fashioned humorous shows, or they can watch even the game shows. I don't care. It is, they just can't watch the news because it isn't too much.
Irma says, we laugh, we die. We don't laugh, we die. So why not do it while laughing?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Irma.
I'm pretty sure that's how I'll be dying, is laughing. And the poor Undertaker's probably going to say, how am I going to get this off her face?
Oh, like the mortician, right? The mortician.
Yeah, the Undertaker. Yep. Just leave it on.
Henrietta Vigil, thank you so much, Henrietta, for also tuning in this morning. So appreciating the conversation. We appreciate you. So that's amazing. And any caregivers out there, I mean, if you're a caregiver, please let us know in the chat, in the comments. We'd love to give you a big shout out because that is truly, it takes a generous spirit to be a caregiver. And it's not easy. And we do it out of love. So shout out, big shout out to all the caregivers.
Correct. It's a hard job. You pick your heart. What do you want to do? Where do you want to see it happen? And it has to be a mutual respect. It has to be a mutual goal in line. I do have a special needs son, and he was 1 pound and 12 ounces at birth and weighed and was 13 inches long, had a trach for 3.5 years. He has cerebral palsy. I'm caregiver over him also. A lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of extra, and you have to be vigilant. You need to know, where to go and what to do, and even anything. What do you want to choose? I mean, we do therapy with him twice a day, and it's about 20-30 minutes just to keep his legs stretched and stuff like that. But we choose that, if not, he's not going to walk. So then we're going to be in a wheelchair. So are we going to be able to take care of him then? No, because I'm seasoned, man. I'm old. I can't lift him like I used to. Actually weighs more than I do now. So, but you do. You really pick your heart. Pick your heart. Do you want him to keep walking, or do you want him to be in a wheelchair because it's easier for me? Maybe some days, but it's a team effort. We have another son who helps as much as he can, and my husband.
Excellent. Well, speaking of your sons, I thought it was so wonderful that for his Eagle project, he was at the cemetery, putting up the little flags over Memorial Day weekend. So that was very special to read on your blog as well.
Oh yes.
And then he wrote a comment.
Did that, but Mitchell, we were out there. It was hot out there, and we were at the hill, and he's like looking at me. He's like, "Can you find that shovel?" And I went and found the shovel, and he's like, "Hey." And by then I'm like sweat, humid here, and I had sweat rolling down the back of my, hoo-ha. And I'm like, "Look, dude, I'm going to sit in the car." And he's like, "Look, you sit out there. I'm going to tell him." I said, "You tell him that I'm taking off, and I'm going to tell him you're grave digging." So so when he came to his Eagle Scout project, they do a interview with him, and they asked him, what was the hardest thing with the young kids? And he said, "Well, trying to keep them on task because much of them were much younger than he was." And then they said, "What was the hardest thing dealing with the older people or the adults?" He said, "My mom. Have you met her?" I'm like, "Thanks a lot," but it's fine.
Well, I think at one point he wanted to fire you for taking a break, and you're like, "Yeah, go ahead, I'm a volunteer."
Yeah, you can't fire me. I don't get paid for this. I stay, I not stay, But we got it done. It was an interesting project to go out and just, we live in a small community. There's probably 2,000 people in the community, but to see some of the amazing veterans, they have even some from the South, even up here buried. Just just interesting to see some of the decorated veterans. Even my father-in-law was from World War II, and he talked a little bit about going to service and stuff, but not a lot. I actually had the privilege of becoming a volunteer. My friend and I, she wanted to do it, and she said, "Hey, you want to be on the honor flight?" Sure, I'll be on the honor flight. I would do it. My dad died when I was 3, but he was in the service, so I thought I'd pay it ahead. So it was most endearing, most um, interesting trip I've ever had in my life, to be honest. And as a volunteer, I had to pay to be the guardian, but that was fine because I wanted to go. We did go, and they kind of warned us they don't usually like family members because a lot of these veterans have seen and done some things that they don't want their families thinking bad of them or doing, thinking that they're bad people and they're not. You know, they were protecting us. And the one lady, I had to laugh because she's like, "Oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. My dad ain't talking." So she goes off to the bathroom. She's like, "Hey, can you watch it?" Yeah, sure. So him and I was talking, and she come back and he says, "Hey, you got to go. Don't you see I'm talking to the pretty girl?" Because he was actually kind of discussing it. He didn't want her to hear. And I had to laugh a little bit, but shoot, some of them even invited me to their local county fairs and said, "Girl, you can come sit with us." I'm like, "You don't even know me." But I'm like, "Okay," but I didn't. But it was interesting, and they all laughed. They all knew who I was. I mean, I didn't have a special badge or anything showing I was a nurse, but they all knew who I was and that I was a little different than most volunteers. It was hot. It was extremely hot. It was like 90 some degrees out there, and we was at one of the monuments, and the police officers started getting on their garb, and we said, you know, it's very clear sky, and we said, "Well, what are you getting your garb on for?" And they're like, "It's going to rain." "Oh, no, it's not going to rain, blah, 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 blah." So then, you know, the question is, because it does snow in DC, well, what is the most snow that you can ride your motorcycle in? They said trackable snow. And I said, "Well, what's trackable snow?" Because I live in a rural area versus a city, because a city might say trackable snow is a lot less than we are. They said 3 to 4 inches. They still will ride their motorcycles.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And we had the police, you know, we had the police escorts, and they all knew in DC, you know, there's a police escort. You stop or you get ticketed right away because there's an extra police officer just to do that. I'm like, wow, felt special.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Um, so speaking about stress management, what is your best stress management tip that you have for us?
Um, Best stress management tip would probably be number one, kind of know what's stressing you out or try to figure it out. Because if you can figure out what's stressing you out before it gets to that point, you're so much ahead. So you can kind of go around the circle. Another thing is take a deep breath. I teach 3 different types: stress management, progressive muscle relaxation, deep breathing, and we've done that one. You know, as a kid, have you ever went easiest step, easiest one you could ever do, deep breath. But as a kid, you or if you stomp off and you know the progressive muscle relaxation, that's all that is. Or the best one is daydreaming. Because you can be anywhere, anytime. Almost. You can get in
Uh,
trouble in church, I just say.
I like that. Just know what stresses you out, so that way you can identify it, be aware before it spirals.
Correct. Because, you know, they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Oh, they're not kidding. If you can kind of figure, because everybody has that stress that, okay, a big event's coming and they stress about it. That's 2 weeks away. What are you going to do about it 2 weeks from now? You're not, if there's something you can handle and do before that time, do it. If not, you can't stress about it. You can't control. I have to laugh when I got married. My husband, well, first of all, my maid of honor's always late. So I told her a half an hour before anybody else to come get me. She still was late. And she just was so apologetic. "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about it." I'm like, "Don't worry about it." I said, "There's only 3 people that really have to show up." And I said, "I'm pretty sure I'm one of them they'll wait for: the bride, the groom, and the priest. That's it. Anybody else is extra." You know? And she's like, "Ah," you know, I'm like, right? Those are really the only 3 that have to be showing up. Anybody else is extra. They're going to wait for one of them, you know. But it is. It's seriously And then the little miniature groom, I have to laugh because my husband's very conservative, very not, he's very serious mostly. And I have to laugh because when it's time for me to come down the aisle, the little miniature groom is screaming bloody murder on the back of church, and you can hear him even on the video. And my husband, by the time I made it down the aisle, which is probably quite a distance, 50 feet, maybe more, he just gave me the meanest look. He's like, couldn't you move that kid? I said, you've seen him. He's 8 years of age. How was I going to move him? He was scared. It's fine. I got down here. It's fine. But oh, was he mad? That's the way to start a marriage, right? I'm like, nothing I can do, you know. Pick your hard. Really?
So your laughter hasn't rubbed off on your husband yet?
No. And my poor husband, he does. Yeah, no. And I have to laugh because I have my blog. The first time I did the blog, and he's like, well, what's this blog? So he got on there. He looked at me. He's like, well, that's kind of funny. I'm like,
Thanks.
you've been married to me for a few years, I'm pretty sure. But okay. Now, I'm pretty sure most of my friends might think I'm funny. I don't know. People will say that when you say, oh, we're going to do laughter yoga. And they're like, oh, you're going to make us laugh. No, I'm not going to make you laugh because I'm not funny. I'll be honest with you. I'm not funny. I might come off as funny, but I'm not.
Do you have one of your favorite laughter yoga exercises you can share with us?
Oh, yes. My favorite one is laughter mental floss because we all get that extra stuff in our heads. So we're going to pretend that we have, instead of this laughter or mental floss, and we're just going to take it like this and go, and of course, it's like any floss. It gets all that extra crap that you don't need out. You just, yeah, just line it up. Oh,
That's new. You sniff it?
Sniff it because it's crap, man. It's crap. It's all crap. Let it out. Let it go. Let it go. Didn't need it. Right?
Oh, that's so funny.
Sniff it stinks.
Speaking of, I actually have a cartoon image of mental floss. I gotta share that with you.
Yeah.
It's funny, mental floss, or let me see if I can pull it up. This cartoon. I think you'll get a kick out of it. But you know, where are you traveling now for your speaking engagements?
I just do local ones right now because I'm mandated to work. Well, I work 3 days a week, but then my oldest son, I have a lot of appointments with him, and Bob has appointments at this point. They're going to change my schedule again. So I'm just right now, I'm just doing little facility ones, nursing homes, things like that. But I want to get more into the corporate, more into public speaking. I talked to a lady that's on a board with me, AACDPR, Pulmonary Rehab. And she's like, send me your information, send me the stress management tips, and send me a video, and we might do that. And then you'd be an international or a national speaker. I'm like, okay. But I've been doing speaking since probably 1994. I was the nurse of hope. So I would give talks on cancer and stuff like that. And probably the funniest one ever was this gentleman was more excited about his cards than listening to me. You know, I don't need to know my 7 signs, what might be something wrong with me. And he's in the front row, and I'm like all excited, there's 50 to 100 people there. And he's like, he looked at somebody and he's like, geez, I hope she hurries up. I'm ready to play cards. Okie dokie. I can pretty well wrangle these dogs up and get them going, So know you're speaking. Know who you're speaking to. It really is. It's just, and I see a lot of people now do need stress management, and they need a little more laughter, more levity in their life. Especially healthcare. Healthcare has taken such a huge hit, and people are leaving. And I know companies think if they're going to give them more money, they're going to stay, and that's not it anymore. There's more to it. Nobody cares to ask me what I think, but I've with Bob being sick and in the hospital, I've talked to other people, and they kind of agreed with me, and they kind of said the same thing of what they thought could help. I've had some respiratory therapists reach out, want me to do laughter with them because they need it. They, you think about they hit the ground running 50 mile an hour, and now they're trying to slow down a little bit, and they're just hoping for the best, actually. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we need to reconnect. We need to reconnect because I think with the pandemic, it was all, and I think we need to reconnect that, what, even if you are working in healthcare, it needs to be a team. You need to be, and if I'm gonna make you laugh or whatever, or we're going to laugh together. And I said that, I gave a presentation and somebody's like, oh, we're gonna laugh. I'm like, correct, but we're not gonna laugh at each other. We laugh with each other, but not at each other, because that's a difference, Laughing at somebody is more of a bully in practice, where laughing with somebody is a team builder. So
That's excellent. Celeste Martin here on LinkedIn is also chiming in, and she so appreciates that, Katy, that you demonstrated mental dental floss. She loves it. I think she's going to be doing a lot more of that. Celeste, I challenge you, maybe do a video of you practicing mental floss and posting that on LinkedIn. We would love to see that.
I could do that. I could do that one. That's actually my favorite one because I tell you.
Everybody should submit a video. Yes. Oh, you know what? Submit a video of your best mental floss laughter, and we can pick a winner. And I don't know, I'll send you a surprise.
There you go.
For being an Get Your Happy On. Oh,
can you see clearly now?
That would be the surprise that you get. So if you're watching this now, or you're watching this on replay, as an appreciation, thank you gift, show me a video of your best mental floss laughter demo, and we'll send you funky glasses. Absolutely, Celeste, right? We do need to reconnect. We need to find ways to reconnect to our inner self, not just with each other, but to our inner self too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think sometimes we've lost a part of that because we're so focused on the other. We're so focused as caregivers on taking care of everybody around us, we forget ourselves.
Correct. I think that's the major thing. Yeah, my dad died when I was very young. My mom was not very well. I stayed home to help take care of her. When everybody graduates and they look at their diploma, I didn't look at it. I figured I didn't pass. I was a CD student. The least thing you'd ever want to see me do is go back to college. I never thought I'd go to college. I graduated high school. I went to a nursing home and work at a carryout and a bar. Can you imagine that? I'm the bartender. And I loved it. It was 3 part-time jobs that worked full-time hours. I loved it. I loved the patients. I loved interacting with people. And I decided to go back to be a nurse. I failed 2 nursing classes, but I did not give up. I worked my jobs plus went to college full-time. I failed 2 nursing classes. Ironically, it was pharmacology and pediatrics. Now what do I use? A lot of. Maybe I needed an extra. I don't. It worked out. It's fine. So then I had a laugh. About 10 years ago, they're like mandating nurses. Oh, you need to go back and get your BS. All my patients are all laughing. They're like, "You don't ready?" I'm like, "Well, not the paper." So I'm like, okay. So I went back and got my bachelor's, and I actually graduated with honors. And honors, it was before they put pockets in dresses. And I'm there, and they're like, "We got to go up and sign in." I'm signing in. They're like, they gave me honor cords. I'm like, oh my gosh, serious? I got honors? How'd this happen and why? So I tell everybody I actually graduated with my BS with honors. So, and I don't know why people laugh at that, but I'm like, okay. That's true.
Well, I wanted to ask you about your speaking because, we're both in another cohort together, which I think is amazing. We've kind of followed each other around, and you're referring me to stuff all the time, and I do the same for you. And I'm so excited because, Dr. Lynn of Laughter Business Academy, right? Like, she's going to be teaching us like some really strategic steps on how to get more speaking gigs locally, internationally, virtually, right? So I'm really excited to have that. And I really love Dr. Lynn's mission about elevating the economy. We love laughter so much. We've seen impacts for our families, for our patients, etc. And so why not bring this on a larger scale? So I'm so thankful that we've got Laughter Business Academy and Dr. Lynn and heading that up. And so if you are watching this and you're applied improv professional, humor professional, laughter yogi, or a creative entrepreneur, come and check us out. Find out more information from Dr. Lynn and the Laughter Business Academy.
Craig, I searched her out because honest, I'm a nurse. I'm not into business. If you ever read nurses' charts, they're just they're not grammatically correct, number one. But I don't do business part. I really don't do the business part. I love the laughter part. She's been amazing helping help grow my craft, help me with my bio even. I can't say enough. I've learned a lot. I got a lot more to learn. I have some wonderful friends that are in business too, and they've been helping. It is great. If you have laughter, and I do improv also, which is kind of funny because the group I'm in has 2 retired engineers, a retired judge, and a retired school teacher. And I laugh so hard. I'm telling you, they're just great. And we all do it on Zoom. So they're, where they're at and I'm where I'm at. And it's just fun. It's just to think outside the box and to think more, to get more laughter in, and some of the stuff is very observed, you're like, huh? But it works, it works. It's
excellent. And then I love that, we can explore like our humor style, right? Because you have mentioned earlier, like even in your career, like you've always used humor to diffuse like the stress and anxiety that your patients may be coming through. And then you pursued laughter yoga, and now we're in Humor Academy, kind of like refining, right, our humor style. It's always been there, but maybe like refining it, like what you said, like my style is a little bit different from your style, etc. But we can make it work, and we can kind of package it in such a way that it makes sense, so that other people can see the value we're presenting and doing, and hire us. Like I tell people all the time, I get paid to laugh. Like, how cool is that?
Oh yes, I love that part. That's my favorite part. Getting paid to laugh.
Getting paid to laugh.
It all works.
Yeah, and
it's I honestly I love that part because you see people, you feel better. I mean, they feel better after they've laughed a little bit. And I'd done a presentation for a little organization in the area, and the lady and her husband had COVID. And I don't know, I'm sure this helps with their breathing practices, but she attended one of my sessions, and she was so happy. She went home, and her husband practice laughter every day now, and actually went to their pulmonologist. And I had to laugh because the pulmonologist is my son's pulmonologist. He says, can I talk to you? And I thought, oh, what did I do? I'm like, yeah. And then, so he started asking me more about it and stuff. And I said, you think about it, because they do open up and get more oxygen, and it makes them feel better. And it's, it's a good way to exercise our heart. And there's so many things that it fits that. I had to laugh. I gave a presentation once in a hospital and for cancer survivors, for breast cancer survivors, and we're laughing. And then all of a sudden, this person comes in and they said, and what's the name of this organization? And we said, Women Warriors. It's a wild group. And she kind of looked kind of puzzled, because you could tell it wasn't connecting. And I laughed and I said, did you hear the laughter out there? She said, yes, that is why I came in. So then we started talking about, that we were doing laughter and how that would help them, even just have a little normalcy to their day for even a little bit. No doctor's appointments, no whatever, X, Y, and Z. There's so many benefits to it. But yes, getting paid to laugh is the best gig. Yes, it is.
Indeed.
Yes,
indeed.
it does.
Getting paid lifts the economy as well as individuals, families, communities. As business owners, we can do so much when we join together and network. You said it exactly. Yes. That is absolutely right, Celeste. And Celeste is an awesome networker. I mean, if you have not connected with Celeste on LinkedIn, I mean, she is just so amazing at like connecting all the dots and connecting people together. So please, Celeste, if you have not connected with Katy, please add her on LinkedIn, because we need to get her some more connections on LinkedIn. We definitely need to connect profile.
Actually, I took Celeste has a laughter practice just for older people and like have problems with joints and stuff like that. It's amazing. I did that one also just because I wanted to do more with my patients and stuff like that. Of course, I'm not allowed to practice with my patients doing that, but I, outside when I go other places, I can definitely use those practices. But it's awesome. It's for older people, But Celeste is amazing.
Awesome. All right. So now we're going to go to our favorite segment of the show, which is rapid fire question time. So we're going to put Katy on the spot with 21 rapid fire questions. So here we go. I'm going to get that queued up. We've got one more comment coming in. Yay! I love connections being made on the show, right? So I always say comment, connect, and collaborate. So find ways to connect with each other and collaborate, because you never know what you can do when you join forces. So thank you. Thank you so much, Celeste, for taking action. All right, so I'm going to put Katy on the spot here, and we're going to do rapid fire question time. Here we go. All right, so what is the most unusual medical device that you've seen?
I don't know if I can say that on a family-friendly show.
Maybe you can describe it with gestures.
Probably not.
No.
I'd get in trouble. I used to be an ICU nurse. Can you imagine?
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so we'll remain a mystery.
Yep.
Your son played bowling in the Special Olympics. What's the worst team name for like a bowling team, a bowling league?
Oh, probably the Sharks. There's no water in bowling, but that's okay. Yeah,
The bowling.
they are special. They are special needs, so it's not. You got to represent anyway, right?
Now I'm curious. I'm going to Google the bowling sharks if there is one.
Oh yeah,
there is. Okay. Why is it important to have good bedside manner?
Why is it important to have good bedside manner? I think I have great bedside manner. I like to meet them where they come. I always give all my patients, I actually work at a Catholic hospital. I actually give them a coin, and I've had everybody but 2 people in 4 years' time take this coin, and it's a St. John of God. He's a patron saint of heart disease, and on the back side, it has a poem or a saying, but it gives them hope. I think sometimes they've had such a traumatic and whatever event that they kind of forget. And I always give them this coin. I'm like, okay, this is to remind you, you got to take care of you so you can take care of others. Because if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of anybody else. So being engaging, I think most of my patients like me. I mean, they seem to. Maybe they don't. Maybe they got a voodoo doll out in the freezer and picking pins in me. Maybe. I don't know. That'd explain a lot some days, but we won't talk about it.
What do your heart patients miss the most about food?
Well, here's the thing. We don't tell them that they can't have anything, because if you tell somebody you can't have anything, what do you want? You want that. So I always tell them all this. It's progress, not perfection. We're going to celebrate the 1%, the 2%, the 3%, the 4%. You're going to have special occasions. Make some healthy choices. That's all it is. And the ones who they make gradual changes seem to do better than those who go from 0 to 60. Those that go from 0 to 60 don't do well. And after 2-3 weeks will come in and say, I just can't do this. What can't you do? I just can't eat this way. Well, what are you eating? Just even if you start incorporating more fruit and vegetables, that's progress because it fills you up. So you're not going to eat some of the other stuff. Because you think about a baked potato is 70 calories. How many chips do you get for 70? Not even one of those little baggies. That's 160. I checked it out and I thought, ooh, I'm not change. Change.
That is a good point. Progress over perfection. So yes, awesome. What is your favorite thing about technology?
Well, none yesterday or today. No, I love connection with everybody. I love being able to be friends with people here versus all over the world. I love that you can go on a laughter yoga session, even at, because I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning some mornings, and I can attend one in Italy, and I love it.
That's awesome. Oh, thank you, Celeste. I love the show. Learning from you today. Gotta jump. Okay, make sure you catch the remaining of this on replay, Celeste. So thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you. What is your non-favorite thing about tech?
Mm, not being smart enough with it.
You don't give yourself
I'm
enough.
learning.
You
I'm
love
learning.
it. Okay?
I'm learning. I'm never too old to learn. Never too old to learn.
Exactly. Never too old to learn.
Nope.
Do you have a favorite gadget, like tech gadget?
Probably my cell phone. Not really.
That's a good one. Yep. Okay. Is there something in your kitchen you cannot live without?
The refrigerator.
I
Let's go
know,
basic.
like back
Huh?
in the day, they would like salt their food to preserve it because they couldn't refrigerate anything.
Correct. Or they had to haul the big old 20, 40 pound ice box. And yeah, no.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, my grandma had an old fashioned ice box like they had, and they put these ice things in, and that's what they kept everything cold. Well, one year for Easter, she hid the Easter eggs, and she kept counting. Well, she found that Easter egg that she had missing 3 months later that got very, very nasty in that ice box because nobody found it there.
She hid it in the ice box. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
an old fashioned ice box. Yeah, it was horrible. That smell. Whew.
So what can you make with tuna fish?
What can you make with tuna fish? I don't like fish very well. Some people put a little lemon on it, makes it look or taste good. I have a friend that makes tuna, honest tuna salad. I use Greek yogurt versus the non-fat Greek yogurt versus mayonnaise because it's less, um, not as fat, no fat, and it's creamier actually. And then I add a lot of spices, a lot of fresh spices instead.
Oh, I like that. I never thought about swapping out the non-fat yogurt
Yep,
with
non-fat Greek yogurt.
Greek
Yep,
yogurt instead of the mayonnaise.
non-flavored. Yep.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to do that this weekend. Okay, thank you for that recipe. What is the cheesiest nurse pun you've ever heard?
Cheesiest nurse pun. Oh, I don't know. My patients are so nervous they don't get funny. I mean, they don't joke. I don't know. That one's a hard one.
All
Wow.
right, you have to come back to me with that one then.
Yeah. We
Pause.
can do that. Pause.
Is that your natural red hair color?
Actually, I've always had red like bases, whatever, and I actually just got it. Well, I went into the beautician, and my regular beautician says, "Well, I'm not going to color your hair. No, I'm not going to do anything to it till Easter." And this was January, and I have natural curly hair. And I looked around, found somebody who does curly hair, and I went to him and I said, "Look, I'm going grays. Can you help me go gracefully gray or do something?" She's like, "Katy, you don't want to go gray." She says, "Your gray is a mouse gray," and she's right because sometimes you need to touch up the roots. And I'm like, "Ugh." So I said, "Okay." So she said, "First of all, I'm going to cut your hair." She got this razor out, scared the pajamas out of me because I'm thinking, "Ooh, shit, I am not moving." Then I thought, well, the hair will grow back slowly, but it'll grow back. And I'm like, "Okay." So she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, what do you want?" I said, "As long as it looks nice, I don't care what you do with it." So she, did swatches, whatever, and she come back and she made it red. And it always had red. Even the beautician, or if I did a box job, whatever, it always had red. I've always had a light red in it, no matter what I did to it, even when I was young.
Love it.
So my son, he was suffering COVID at the time, and I come walking in the house, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're going through a midlife crisis." I said, "Dude, this is not a midlife crisis. This is hair." I said, "A midlife crisis would be a buff dude in a motorcycle, and I'd be the hell out of here. That's a midlife crisis. This is hair. It will grow back." So that but it's still kind of short. I used to have it longer, but it's fine. It's fine. Kind
It's
of
very
kind of my
sad.
personality though, you know?
It
So I
is.
laughed. He's like, why red? I said, look, a fire engine has to have a warning sign that you're coming towards you. I think I need a warning sign. He's like, yeah, that's true.
Warning. So, what's one essential cosmetic item that you have?
Mascara. I have
Mm,
such light eyelashes and stuff like that. I look like I have no eyes if I don't put mascara on. Yeah.
good to know. What are three things that we find in the trunk of your car?
Do you really want to know? Um, you're gonna laugh. Okay, so Bob had his first heart cath about a month and a half ago, and they said, "Well, we don't keep him overnight, so somebody has to stay with him." Are you kidding? Okay, fine. So we stop at Walmart. I fly in there like a raving maniac lunatic because I need clean underwear, I need a blanket, and I need a pillow, right? And pajamas. And there's some guys, and they look a little sketchy, and they're kind of looking at people and stuff because I think I was too damn old and probably too sassy for them. They weren't going to take me for drug trafficking or, sex trafficking anyway. So I was pretty safe, and I was walking pretty fast. And of course, I always get the bonus card. I don't know about you, but you always get the bonus card, the one that goes, plop, 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 plop. The only nice thing with the bonus card, when you're going fast enough, it sounds like you're psycho and they get the hell out of the way. So I had that. So they were probably frightened a little bit. I didn't care. I was just getting myself and getting out. So I have a pair of clean underwear, I have a pair of pajamas, and I have a pillow and a blanket in case I have to stay at Bob's. I look like I'm a homeless person if you look in my trunk. That's fine.
Well,
Right?
you're fully stocked up then.
I know. I had to have clean underwear. Somebody offered that. Well, Bob said, well, I think, and his wife passed away 2 years ago. He's like, I think she might have. I'm like, no. I had no sisters and I wouldn't go there. No way. No, 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 no. I won't share that. No, no, no.
I wouldn't
Mm.
either.
That's my phobia. Phobia. That and socks. Oh my God. Anyway,
What's the most interesting vegetable you've come across?
most interesting vegetable I've ever come across. Asparagus. My
Okay.
husband had never ate asparagus till he met me. My kids call it healthy fries because I put them in the oven and I put a little olive oil on it, and it actually, if you cook it long enough, it browns up, but it's the natural sugar coming out, and it's actually good. So
Oh, I've always had it wrapped around bacon. That's mine. I love bacon wrapped asparagus.
I do too, but it ain't quite heart healthy, and yeah,
On a cheat day, maybe.
maybe yeah, once in a while.
What is the last board game that you played?
What was the last board game I played? Last game that bored me, or last board game?
Both.
Well, Mason likes to play Trouble. You know, the one where you press down the thing and you have to get a six to move. Yeah, he's quite the card shark on that shit. You know what I mean? You would think that he wasn't mentally, but he knows. I'm telling you, and I don't know how he knows how to hit that just right. To always get it on the six. It baffles my mind, to be honest. So it'd have to be that one.
So that's the board game you played. And what is the game that bored you?
Um, Probably a new card game. If you try to teach me a new card game, yeah, no, whatever. I'm used to slapjack, man. I had brothers.
um, if you could travel back in time, what time period would you go to?
Ah, I don't know. All of them very interesting. Um, I would want to be Cleopatra. I need some servants. Just saying.
Yes, if you could all just channel Cleopatra today. Um, what sound does your alarm make?
I don't know. I'm up before the darn thing goes off. So my husband don't hear it, and I tell him, "Hey, it's going off." I'm telling you, I'm on tight, girl. I get up way before the alarm. I don't know.
That's amazing. You've got your own internal clock.
Oh, I do. I do. I do. Unfortunately.
How do you handle it when you forget someone's name at work?
Oh, girl, that's an everyday occurrence. I'm telling you, I have tried everything. I am horrible with names. I can look at a person, I can remember a story, everything, but name, it just blows my mind. It just, I only have 4 patients per hour, so it's a little different, but and don't call somebody sweetheart. If you're a nurse, do not call them sweetheart if they're a significant other there, because sometimes they can be offended by that stuff. Do not. I call people friend a lot. That's probably a bad thing. I don't know. I guess I should. I guess that's better than calling them, hey, enemy. What the heck? Hey, friend.
Hey, friend. Okay.
Hey, friend. Hey, enemy.
Or you can say friend of me, right?
Friend of me. Friend of me. Enemy. Nah, that don't flow.
So why do you say that getting older is a privilege?
Why do I say that? Because not everybody gets that privilege. Look at how many young people, or like my dad was 24 when he died. So I haven't had a dad since I was 3. Look at all the people that die young of cancer. They used to say the good die young. I don't know if I believe that sometimes. Maybe it's we remember the good stuff when people pass away versus some of the bad stuff, which is good. You shouldn't remember all the bad. I don't know. Not everybody gets to be older. My mom was 64 when she died. My aunt was 65.
And you're celebrating your birthday this weekend. So how are you
No,
celebrating?
no, I'm not celebrating a birthday because that was canceled. So I am.
They can't.
They canceled my birthday. Can you believe that? Somebody canceled my birthday.
What?
I'm not getting older. I'm getting seasoned. And don't tell me to act my age, because I've never been this age before. And Lord only knows that opens a whole new can of worms. I'm just saying, just a whole new can of worms.
So happy seasoning day.
That's right. There you go. Some days a little more seasoned than others. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. So I've got a happy task for you today. I have this deck of cards called the Book of Happiness, Big Box of Happiness.
Oh, nice.
So
pick one.
So you get to pick one, Katie. Let's see. You want to pick. This is going to be your happy task of the day.
Okay. What, middle one?
The middle one? Okay.
Yeah.
The middle one. Safe choice. Okay. This one says, oh, stretch as tall as you can.
Well, when you get seasoned like me, you start shrinking. So, okay.
So today, your happy task reminder is to remember to stretch as tall as you can. Maybe get on tippy toes, raise those fingers up to the sky.
Stand up straight, sit up straight, all that, right? It's
Yes.
kind of hard when you got 2 pillows under your butt, but okay. We're good.
You did excellent. We didn't fall off the pillows.
No, I was teetering a little bit. Did you see me? I looked like I was like on the sea. Hope nobody got seasick. I'm sorry.
Awesome. You have been so delightful to talk to you, and I love, just having this friendly chat with you, outside of class. And it's such a pleasure just to be in, the same cohorts and projects. And so we're going to grow together.
That's right.
You're definitely going to grow together. So thank you to all of you who have been watching. Get your happy on. And if you're watching this on replay, #replay. And remember, the contest still stands. So if you can send us a demo of your mental floss laughter, we'd love to see it. You can post on social media and tag us, tag Katie and I. I encourage you to follow Katie. You can find her on Facebook. And then if you haven't connected with her on LinkedIn, she's looking to build up her LinkedIn profile, needs to get connections. So connect away. This is her profile on LinkedIn. And then also read a blog at Katie with a Y, because why not? It's full of just really heartfelt stories about her caregiving experiences and her family, and it's very heartwarming. So I love following your blog.
Somebody said, you kind of write the way you talk. I said, probably.
And it's chatty casual, which is fine. A lot of people are liking that tone of voice in our writing, being chatty casual as if you're talking to your friend. And that's what I appreciate, so it's not arduous to read.
Don't give me big words, sister, just saying.
Just saying, right? So be sure to connect and collaborate. And I'm going to show you the cartoon of that mental floss image, and we're going to play an outro clip for Katy, and then I also like to end it with a tribute to my dear neighbor, Mr. Phil. So that's it for our show, and thank you so much for being on with us. See you all next week.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, so here's the cartoon that I promised you. I'm going to pull it up 1 second here. And a big shout out to Humor Point from Robert Bostick for providing all these funny cartoons. All you have to do is just go to the search engine, the perfect cartoon search engine, type in a keyword, and sure enough, this one came up for mental floss. So here it is. Has the past few years changed your work environment? Are you finding that your staff is more stressed, disconnected, and disengaged? Look no further than Katy Maag. She designs fun and interactive sessions to help your staff decrease stress by up to 65%, and they'll find ways to re engage and reconnect with each other and to their work. Katy Maag is available for keynote speaking, roundtable discussions, and stress buster sessions. Please contact Katy today. Connect and collaborate. Thank you so much for watching Get Your Happy On. Have you enjoyed today's episode? I invite you to comment. So please share with us your thoughts and ideas in the comments. We'll be checking and would love to reply back to you. Please also connect. Connect with each of our amazing special guests and connect with each other here in the comments as well. This is a great way to network and to make new friends. And finally, collaborate. I would love to find ways to collaborate with you or help you to find collaborations with vast people in my network. So remember, comment, connect, and collaborate. Thank you again. See you next week.